Hi friends, it's Deanna Willison from Our Blooming Catholic Life. I came back today from walking the dog, and this was sitting on the stairs. Yay! My husband claimed the only ribbon he could find was this caution tape. We have a large amount of caution tape from Halloween one year, honestly. Our dog was a safety officer. Mainly because our dog is a safety officer. If you don't have a dog that makes you do fire drills, you just don't even know the struggle. So it was a little bit of a joke, but the kids in the neighborhood all know if they're not wearing bike helmets, like, my dog freaks out, right? If they are running around without their parents, my dog freaks out. So the kids know he is a safety officer. We like to joke about Australian Shepherds, which is his breed, being Hank the cow dog. If you've ever read the books, you get that. If not, they're kind of awesome. I enjoy them. They were originally in some sort of ranch magazine, and then they made them into children's books. They're pretty fun. So let's see, though, what's in my box. It's almost open. Okay. And if I put these on my list, which I probably did, told you the Holy Spirit did it, and I don't remember what they are. Ooh. The Day is Now Far Spent by Robert Cardinal Sarah. Ooh. Let's see the next one. Go to Heaven. Hey, that's kind of awesome. A Spiritual Roadmap to Eternity by Fulton Sheen. Remember, I've been doing that daily devotional by Bert Gezzi using Fulton Sheen's wisdom from Fulton Sheen. So more Fulton Sheen. Christus. Do you say that? Vincit? I don't know. It is by Bishop Athanasius Snyder. Oh, okay. That's why. Yeah. So good bishop. And of course, yeah. The reviews on the back are by Robert Cardinal Sarah, Father Aidan Nichols. Okay, I don't know him, but Father Gerald Murray, Raymond Leo Cardinal Burke, and Scott Hahn. So again, I've learned that to look at the reviews. Who are they by? Are they people I trust? We talked about that. The World's First Love, Mary, Mother of God. Another Fulton Sheen, and you can see who the foreword is by. So very interesting. The reviews on this one, I don't know. Newark News, Philadelphia Inquirer, Chicago Sunday Tribune. Those aren't helpful, but then Father Andrew Apostoli, CFR. Good. Let's see, what's this one? Oh, Joseph Cardinal Zen. For the love of my people, I will not remain silent on the situation of the church in China. This is a very timely, very important book. And then, interesting. A Time to Die. Monks on the Threshold of Eternal Life. It is by Nicholas Diat, and the foreword is by Robert Cardinal Sarah. So there seems to be some themes running here. And look, some of our other favorites here. One of the reviewers is Father Don Calloway, MIC. So he's been doing that consecration to St. Joseph that everybody's been raving about. These look pretty good. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab some of these then and kind of put them together and make a little, one of our little book previews. We already have a couple minutes, so are there some that are different? This one seems a little bit different than some of the others. No, you know what? I'll do that one with Sarah. Then we have two Sheens. That's Snyder. Let's look at this one by Bishop Athanasius Snyder. And the funny thing is, I only know how to say his name because I've seen him on YouTube. And it does say it's In Conversation with Diane Montagna. It's by Angelico Press, which is not a printing house I'm familiar with. First published in the USA in 2019, so this is pretty recent. Nothing on there really, no nihil, none of that, so which is not surprising. To the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Mother of God and Mother of the Church, to all the little ones of the militant Church of our days, who as bishops, priests, religious fathers and mothers and families, young people and children, have in the past decades been marginalized, humiliated, and punished for the sole reason of their unshakable fidelity to the integrity of faith and the liturgy of the Holy Mass. Starts out then with a quote from 1 Corinthians 1:27-29. God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are, so that no human being might boast in the presence of God. Let's look here. I'll read table of contents, because you're going to get an overview of the book by hearing the chapter titles, right? The tribulation of those days, good soil, God calls, Athanasius. The sun shall be darkened, secularism and the new dictatorship, Islam and the de-Christianization of Europe, and then religious indifferentism. The moon shall not give her light, loss of the supernatural, Vatican II, papal power, the Society of St. Pius X, the Fourth Great Crisis, doctrinal confusion beyond the West. The stars shall fall from heaven includes the Eucharist and Holy Communion, reform of the reform of the clergy, advice for families and laity, the holy angels, Fatima and the third secret, and Christus Vincit, which I think is the victory of Christ at the end. So let's just read very first paragraph in the introduction so we get a little bit of insight here. For a number of years now, the interventions of Bishop Athanasius Snyder on the controversies raging in the Church have provided clarity and hope for beleaguered adherents of the traditional Catholic teaching. Never before, however, has Bishop Snyder stepped back from the occasional intervention to unfold at length his own witness to that faith given once and for all to the saints and conveyed to him by the martyrs of the communist persecution. This book is offered as a vade mecum for the perplexed in these difficult times. Christus Vincit means Christ conquers. Is the first book-length interview with him. He is the Archbishop of St. Mary in Astana, Kazakhstan. And I'm going to stop there. So he was born in the USSR. His early years were spent in the Soviet underground church before emigrating with his family to Germany. And it goes on to his formation and things. So this is someone who has lived under Soviet rule and his take on the church and our times. I think this is timely and going to be super insightful, so I'm super psyched to read this. Of course, I'm still working on my book, and I'm really behind in my reading, so that's why we're doing a book preview. I will flip through quick. I don't see any pictures. If you thought there were pictures, this is not pictures. The text isn't particularly small, not particularly big, probably normal font. So she has questions. This is one of those ones that is done more of an interview style. And sometimes one forgets what the Sunday gospel was, but if one hears it again during the week, one reflects on it again. It is very conducive to a more contemplative life. Oh, so that's not a question. So he seems to have, there are some that are questions, and then he explains it back, like it's a conversation, but in some of them, like that one, the interviewer might just be making their own observations, and then Bishop speaks to it. Yes, because some of them are very explicitly her questions. What are your thoughts regarding the place of Latin in the liturgy? So in italics are the interviewer's questions or comments, and then we have what Bishop has. I believe, was it Pope Benedict did a book in this format? So this is a very interesting format. It's like you're a part of the conversation. I do really like that. Because a lot of times they're the same questions we have, and if we can find those questions that we identify with, that will help us out. And I am going to throw in with it then. Let's see here at the end. Declaration of Truce. There is an appendix at the end. There is a declaration of truce back in the appendix. And it notes that Bishop Athanasius Snyder initiated and was one of the main contributors to the editing process of the declaration. And we'll see, that was signed by Cardinal Raymond Leo Burke, Cardinal Janis Pujats, I don't know if I said that right, Thomas Peta, Jan Powell Lenga, I am not saying any of these right, I apologize, and Athanasius Snyder. And so that's this book, and actually then, is because he lived under the USSR, and he's talking about those topics, I have to tie in Cardinal Zen. I have to. So let's see what we've got here. This book, I feel, is going to move me to tears. For the love of my people, I will not remain silent. A series of 8 lectures on the defense and clarification of the 2000 letter of Pope Benedict XVI to the Church in the People's Republic of China, translated by Pierre G. Rossi, and it is by Ignatius Press in San Francisco. There was an Italian edition that was published in Hong Kong, it looks like. Which makes sense, because that might be where he was. Cardinal Joseph Zen, a native of China, served as the 6th Bishop of Hong Kong. He has been outspoken on the issues regarding human rights, political freedom, and religious liberty, often attracting criticism from the Communist Party of China. And then it does tell you some other very important books dealing on this topic. So we have the Red Book of Chinese Martyrs, The Wise Man from the West, Matteo Ricci and His Mission to China, Non-Negotiable Essential Principles of a Just Society and the Humane Culture, Calm in the Chaos, Catholic Wisdom for Ancient Times, and the Crucifix on Mecca's Front Porch, and lastly, The Fragility of Order. And they are all from Ignatius Press. They're all going to be possibly related to this topic, if you want to go in further. So we're going to look at the contents. There's an introduction, events before and after the illegitimate ordination attempt and the canonization protest in 2000, events shortly before and after the letter, draft, suggestions and final text, and corrections to the Chinese translation, a commission for the Church in China, a compendium and an aid, content of the letter, Catholic ecclesiology, content of the letter, situation of the Church in China, content of the letter, relationship between the Church and state, what must we do, go back to Pope Benedict's letter. Read to you the very beginning here, the introduction. This text contains a series of lectures that Joseph Cardinal Zen delivered in Hong Kong to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Pope Benedict XVI's 2000 letter to the Church in the People's Republic of China. The lectures were in Chinese and then translated into Italian by the Cardinal himself, with the assistance of some native speakers. The tone is that of a lecture that is informal, which makes the reading more interesting and informative. I met Joseph Cardinal Zen many years ago. For family's reasons, I developed a strong relationship with the people of Hong Kong in 2000, almost 20 years ago. At that time, the Bishop of Hong Kong was John Cardinal Baptist Wu Shencheng, and his coadjutor bishop was Joseph Zen. Bishop Zen succeeded Cardinal Wu in 2002 and remained in this position until 2009. When reading newspapers and talking with people at the time, I learned of Cardinal Zen's strong opposition to the Chinese government and their policies. I met him at Rome when he was already the Bishop of Hong Kong. I remember meeting him and experiencing his anger because of the behavior of the Chinese government against religion, especially the government's repressions and persecutions. And I am not going to go into that. I want you to read further. And I've already told you so. It's a series of the lectures and just very little headers. There are little headers. So like the last one had little questions in italics. This has smaller headers in bold. It's like main goal of the meeting, discuss a plan of a letter to the Church in China, 3 things discussed at the meeting, 2 significant factors before the publication of the Pope's letter. So tons of small headers within each little chapter, saying what he did. There's a call to action at the end again. What must we do? Again, I haven't read it yet, and I know this is very timely. I've heard Bishop Zen speak. Sorry, Cardinal Zen speak. It's a very moving topic, and that's probably why I'm tripping over my words here. I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to mischaracterize either of these books. They are very important for today, for this year especially. I want to encourage you to get out and read these. I'm going to jump into these like as soon as I can. My wait list of books is incredible. Good things I'm a fast reader normally, but again, we all know I've been having issues with Father Peter Damian Fellner's books because I hear it in his voice, and I met him towards the end of his life, and he had a very low, slow way of speaking, and that is the voice that comes through when I read his books. So I'm not at my normal fast pace, but it's good because the book is so dense. It just takes a while for me to soak it in, and that's what's been holding me up. Normally I can take my little post-it notes and stick them in a book and I can keep going and I'm good, but not with Father Peter Damian's work. I need to let it soak in. It's so rich to let it soak in. Maybe I have a new way of reading books after this. Maybe I've been transformed on that. So I'm going to hop off here. I'll review some more of these books in upcoming videos. Remember, I'm going to try and do these book previews and reviews on a regular basis, but also on Wednesdays, I'm going to start doing a thing called Water Wednesdays, where we're going to talk about ecological issues. Ecological issues, mainly centered around water. So, Water Wednesdays. God bless, friends.